Another extraordinary chapter has been written into Queensland's political history. This week, Campbell Newman became the leader of the LNP, but couldn't sit in the parliament that spent so much time talking about him. And he wasn't there to hear the Premier throw down the gauntlet to local councils in the battle over water, giving them the choice to once again take control of pricing. We'll hear from Mr Newman on that issue shortly. But first to political reporter Chris O'Brien on the week's events in the House. So where do we start this week, Chris? With the leader of the LNP in the Parliament or the leader of the LNP outside?
Jess, this segment is called Week in Parliament, so we'd better start inside with the parliamentary leader. Jeff Seeney's question time tactic this week has been to contrast Campbell Newman's financial management of Brisbane with Labor's handling of the state economy.
Can the Premier explain to Queensland families why they must continue to endure these massive increases in their cost of living due to the policies of this failed Labor government?
Cost of living is a good issue for an opposition, but the Premier was ready.
I'm particularly concerned to see that in the Brisbane City Council area, despite promises by the former mayor that rates would not go above the rate of inflation, that was the promise, would not go above the rate of inflation or he would resign.
And the fact remains, doesn't it, that we have this strange situation where question time is being dominated by a person who's not allowed to be in there.
Yes, the Deputy Premier stretched the patience of the Speaker using a prop for this stunt.
We know the member for Callide is not the one answering the questions. Campbell Newman's doing it. Rubber stamp there, Mr Speaker. He's not the one picking the front bench. Campbell Newman's doing that, Mr Speaker. He'll take the money to apply the rubber stamp. Mr Speaker, he would have to be the most expensive clerk in Queensland, Mr Speaker.
A fortnight ago, when this extraordinary leadership arrangement emerged, Jeff Seeney said the government was mocking it because they were scared.
He still thinks that.
Cut and run. Get out of here quick. Order. Cut and run. Cut and run. This morning in the Parliament we've seen the Premier and a succession of ministers line up to attack Campbell Newman, the leader of the LNP's election team. And yet people of Queensland have to ask why. Why, Mr Speaker? Why? Because they are running scared, Mr Speaker.
We did hear each day from Campbell Newman, even though he wasn't in the chamber.
Yes, he himself has acknowledged this historic situation. For the first time, a party leader has had to respond to parliamentary matters outside. And Campbell Newman also made these very interesting comments during the week about Parliament.
What I have to do is take our message out across Queensland, which I'll be doing in the next few days. I'll be hitting North Queensland from Thursday through to Sunday. And I've also got to listen to people about what the local issues are. I know politicians and the media are very focused on what happens in the parliamentary chamber, but ultimately what Queenslanders want is they want their politicians out on the ground addressing the issues. But Parliament's only a mechanism, and I